Okay, so here's our first example, and I'm going to put this in on a fill-in-the-blank note, so I'm going to be doing this from scratch. Okay, so we've got our equation, y equals x squared plus 2x minus 1. Very first thing, just like when we did the quadratic formula, you want to identify your a, your b, and your c. So my a value is going to be 1, my b value is going to be 2, and my c value is going to be -1. Now that c value is our y-intercept. That just means we know this is going to cross our graph at +1, or sorry, at -1, but that's not going to really play too much into the graphing process. First thing we want to do is find our x coordinate. It's going to be -b over 2a. So it's negative parenthesis over 2 times parenthesis. Okay, our b value is 2, our a value is 1, so that should leave me with -2 over +2, which is -1. Sorry. So we know the x coordinate is -1. To find the y coordinate, we need to plug that in. So that would be -1 into our original equation, plus 2 times -1 minus 1. Now, if you have a graphic calculator handy, or a calculator in general, you can enter this in, but you need to use the parentheses. So -1 squared plus 2 times -1, and then minus 1. Okay, and I type that in, and you can see we get -2. So our y-coordinate is -2. That means the vertex of my graph is -1, -2. Okay, where x is -1, that's going to be right here. X equals a number is a vertical line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a vertical line at x equals -1. That's our axis of symmetry. It's always a vertical line at whatever this x value is. So this point, the vertex, -1, -2, will lie on this graph. -1, -2. Here's my vertex. Okay, so now I'm going to find some other points. So the long method, and if you watch any other YouTube videos, they're going to have you plug 0 into the equation, plug 1 into the equation, plug -2, plug -3. It takes a while to do. There is a pattern. Okay, if you always say we want to multiply our a value by the next consecutive odd integer. Well, what are odd numbers? 1. The next consecutive would be 3. So if we take 1 and 3, I'm going to write 5 here just so you guys can see the pattern go out a little further. These are my odd numbers. My a value in this problem, my a value is +1. And this is going to give me my vertical change. Okay, so my vertical change. So 1 times 1 is 1, 3 times 1 is 3, 5 times 1 is 5. These are positive numbers, so the vertical change means going up. So from the vertex, the first thing I'm going to do is go up 1. The horizontal change is always 1. Always, always, always 1. So what I'm going to do, come over to the graph, I'm going to go up 1. The horizontal change is always 1. So there's my first one. Now I see +3. So not from the original point, but from the second point, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3. Over 1. I've got now 2 points on the right-hand side. That's all I need. Now, if I wanted another point, I could go up 5 from here, because that would be the next number in my chart here. But this is good enough. So now I'm going to focus in on the graph. So now I'm going to use the idea of symmetry to finish this graph. If this point is 1 unit to the right of the axis of symmetry, I'm going to make a point 1 unit to the left. This is 1, 2, so 1, 2. Now you can see we've got a parabola here. Here is our parabola. Okay, the domain, and I'm going to use a capital D. We said the domain's always going to be all real numbers. All real numbers. The range is always going to deal with the y-coordinate of my vertex. Okay, so the y-coordinate of my vertex over here in my work. Okay, the y-coordinate, I'm going to write that -2 here. Okay, this graph opens up. The entire graph is above that -2. So it's greater than or equal to -2. Okay, I'm going to next go over the next few examples.